Is this everyone or what?
They have to watch the video.
Good. I'm glad. Okay. Am I supposed to start?
Sure.
Okay. I can't look at some people. Okay, so for mine, I just did all like 5 of the things that Jason had brought up multiple times over the summer about like every time there's an athlete who had like an injury or like a weird thing come up that we'd be like, oh, the trainers should know this, or I'm sure they don't know this, or they need a reminder of this. So that's kind of what I did mine on. And so the first one is we had a younger kid who couldn't control his lower back doing a front squat. But go up against a wall and keep the elbows against the wall the whole time, and that helped him learn the correct form for his back. And it forced him to keep his elbows up the whole time. And so the only downside with that is that he can't get as deep, but it gave him the correct posture for it. Then we had a couple kids, or adults, whatever, who couldn't keep their elbows up while front squatting, so we did some PNF stretching on the internal rotators to get more external rotation while they were front squatting. So we just had the arm up here and did the external, internal rotation, doing stretching for like the 8 seconds because that's the optimal time for holding it. And then keeping the elbows up in the carrying position, we did arm adduction to fire the rear delts and had them both up and did the same PNF stretching to fire the rear delts to get those to loosen up so that they could keep their arms up more and it was more comfortable for them, especially when they're getting with heavier weights. The third one is, I think it was Tom, actually. It was Tom. The weight was feeling really heavy when he was squatting, and so during a warm-up set, and so he did a set at the, whatever, I don't remember what the weight was, but then he stepped off and then took 15 seconds and then did the same weight again and did 4 more reps, and that helps take away the heavy feeling in your legs. Right, Tom? Yep, it worked. True story.
Good job, Tom.
Tom, do 5 push-ups, rest 15, and then 5 more. See if it feels better.
Do what?
No, I'm just kidding.
With their shirt off.
Tom looks good. He can have his shirt off.
This one came from Tom, too. You might as well just stay here. Okay, so the next one. Don't say it. I can't take it seriously.
FY, what a wonderful group. Really,
Thank you.
Really.
Thanks.
The next one is an
Ruth
abdominal
Pitwell.
exercise.
Ruth Pitwell. Can't talk. There's some
The next one was
weird
an
going on.
abdominal exercise for people who've either had a hernia or have a bad back. And it's a hanging leg raise. And what that does is it locks the pelvis into place, making the exercise easier for them to do. And if they have that hernia, it puts it into place.
Which exercise was
Leg raises. Alternating.
Was that the alternating split?
Alternating.
that? Alternating.
Did I not say that?
No, I was just wondering.
I'm
Nope.
sorry.
Alternating, yep.
Alternating leg raises because it locks the pelvis into place. Makes it okay with their back. And then this one was last week for Steven. And we actually did it again today with Ray. So Steven had a feeling in his hip every time he was squatting or doing some deadlifts and some like random exercises he felt it. And so at first we had him lay on his back with his legs crossed over like this, and when he let this leg hang, you could still feel it.
Steven, right? We're talking
Yeah,
about?
for
Yep.
Steven.
Yep. Why don't you show us exactly what it was? The Faber position, so they know.
Like this,
Yep.
on the floor. Like, should I-
Or is everybody can envision that on the floor?
like I'm laying.
Can you
Okay.
show me?
So he had pain in his left, like,
So when he laid like this, he had pain in his left. And so at first we started with the leg up this way, and we did the PNF stretching and him resisting it, and started really light. And then he tried squatting again, and he still had it, so we adjusted like the angle and how much pressure was put onto it. And then and then kept trying to squat, and then came back, and it was getting a little better, but it wasn't like completely gone. And so then we did right leg lifts. And so we had, this way.
Yep.
So we did the right leg and worked the groin on the opposite leg. And then we did clamshells on the one that hurt him. And then, so he did 30 leg lifts and then 15 to clamshells. And then the last 5 he had resistance on him. And then he got up and did squats and the pain was gone. So then in between each one of his sets, we added that in because that's what helped to go away. And then in his next set of exercises, he had deadlifts. and the pain kind of came back a little bit. So added it back into that, and that helped him have that pain go away. And then same with Ray today. He did his hamstring, right?
Let me think. He might have did. Yep, his hamstring.
He did his
Yep.
hamstring, and so then we
Yep.
did that same thing with him today, and it helped him feel a little better, but it wasn't completely. So he's going to just keep doing more of those to help him doing it and working the opposite pain pattern.
Yep.
And that's it until the trivia.
Okay. Perfect. Nice. So now are we rotating? Jackie's up. Okay. Nice job, Maddy. Good job.
Nice. Okay, I'm eating on the go with implementing Higher Power's 12 nutrition rules. And so first I researched, here's a little cover. Okay, first I researched on the bill that the president did in 2010 about how fast food chains with 20 or more outlets, they have to disclose their calorie counts on their food items, and also they have to add in like or supply information on how many calories a healthy person should eat in a day. So like on your wrappers it says like based on a 2,000 calorie diet. There's some supporters of this bill, but they say that even the menu might not inspire the customers to eat better, but they should be told like what kind of nutrition they're putting into their body anyways, and it's good to have that out there. So I kind of researched, kind of like an overview I did. I looked at 4 different fast food places. So I looked at Culver's, Panera.
Too healthy. No, just kidding.
Yeah, I tried to stay a little healthy.
Did you do Wendy's?
No, I was going to though.
Oh. Jesse could just, he has it memorized.
Yeah, you probably looking for some. Culver's, Chipotle, Panera, and Subway. And I tried to stay with a little healthier because they had good choices, like all their chicken was human certified, raised without antibiotics and growth hormones, which is good, which High Power strives for organic, stay with organic and antibiotic-free chemicals and stuff like that. So, like Culver's, 100% all natural. Chipotle, chickens are raised without added hormones, 100% without antibiotics. Panera, antibiotic-free. And Subway. Subway is the first restaurant to earn the American Heart Association Heart Check, which is good. And they have, it's cool because Subway has like a lot of health programs that they have. Like I was looking on their website and they have like nutrition specialists on there. You can like ask them questions and they have like little facts and stuff. So I basically went for, the ones I focused on with the 12 core nutrition principles was eat a quality protein portion every 2 to 3 hours, and always eat a vegetable or fruit. And I kind of also tied in with eat 4 vegetable servings per day and 2 fruit servings per day. So I kind of went and picked out choices that you could pick to go there. And also I found an app. It's like a fast food app where you can go on there. So like for your clients, if they don't know for sure and they like to eat out, or like, I know it's not good to have them eat out a lot, but if they do, you can go on there and they have like all the nutrition facts, grams of fat, calories, protein, so they kind of know like what they can stay within. So I thought that was kind of cool and something you can, that's on the go. And then also I have another page that kind of has like other smart swaps from different restaurants, like choose this instead of another thing. And then I have another page that just talks about Chipotle and their gluten-free and what allergens. Some of the foods have allergen-free, and so I found that there are a lot of healthy choices there. You can eat fast food, but yeah.
Nice.
Kind of try to stay away from fast food, but there are good choices.
Sure. Right. Times you got to do it. Absolutely. That's good. That's really good. I think that was a good job.
An overview.
I'm excited to see it.
Yeah. I'll
Yeah.
put it down for you guys.
Very cool. Good job. Very good, Jackie.
Nice.
Okay, so now these, our trivia is all facts. Jason can't answer everyone. No, we're not done.
start
I'm
together.
I'm not answering any.
You're not answering, okay, because most of them are from him. No, you have to do one,
What if I don't get it right?
because that would be embarrassing. But so we came up with like 10 facts each of things that like stuck with us over the summer that we learned. That I'm sure they're gonna be pretty easy for you guys, but and then you can come pick a prize. It's a little thank you, boys.
Big caramel apples.
Good thing you guys all have boys. So my dad works for a candle company, and so they're all candles that we've taken. Some of them have stickers, but he gets like batches, and these ones are super random. So you guys can each take, and there's diffusers in there too.
Jesse needs a lot of candles.
Well, you
For
have
the bath, like especially if you have a bathroom candle.
There's diffusers for the bathroom.
You gotta set the mood.
There you go.
Yeah, that's true. He did.
Alex, I know your girlfriend would love a candle.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so the first one.
Myself in the back, thinking candle.
Good.
How should we do this? First one to raise their hand or what?
Yep.
And he answered right.
Yeah.
Whenever you watch. Okay, what is the strongest position for the head during extension and during flexion exercises? There's two different. One for each.
Strongest position for the head during flexion.
During flexion exercises and then during extension
So
exercises.
what type of flexion? Like
Extremity flexion.
any type of
Extremity. Mm-hmm.
Chin tucked.
For which one? What's that? Next?
For extension, you should have a neutral. No?
Not according to Jason.
Well, there's something called symmetrical tongue reflex.
Yeah.
So in a position of flexion, you're going to always be stronger with a flexion movement, okay? And if you watch somebody curl, they'll do it instinctively. If you watch somebody do a bicep curl, if you watch somebody do a chin up, they'll also do it, okay? At the top, they're going to flex their chin.
Yep.
It's a reflex that's never fully inhibited. It's also called a cradle reflex. It's the reason I got that term is if you drop a baby, the baby will actually go into flexion to protect itself. And what happens is, over our lifespan, this reflex is somewhat inhibited, but there's been studies done on bench pressing. We know that the worst thing you do is lift your head, and you see people do it often when they bench press, and it actually inhibits your strength. And you actually, if you just, now you're not going to go crazy and tilt your head on a bench, but literally if you are just gently, pushing your head back, you are going to be stronger. But I'll usually apply it, where is it going to be safest? Well, it's, open chain movements, it's usually a pretty good place to do it. Flexion, extension, usually a good place to apply the principle. So it's kind of something that I'll coach with people. So, but if you just watch, you'll see the client will kind of naturally do it.
Flex about what, 30 degrees? Is that-
Just a little bit. I mean, just a little bit. So I don't know the optimal angle. So I just kind of watch how they do it naturally, and that's how I coach it. And you don't have to do it every rep, but usually towards the end is kind of when you want to coach it, when you're starting to struggle.
Do it a lot on bench though, and they're struggling that way.
Right, which isn't good. Lifting the head is not good.
No.
So
Okay, the next one is.
Did you want to give each prize?
Well, I don't know if I'm right or wrong now.
it's kind of like half right? He gets half a candle. Break it in
Last
half.
question.
How
How many Wendy's is
Just
he
wait.
wait?
One?
No, we'll hold off. I'll wait till I'm 100%.
There's 19 questions.
Oh, good.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, this one's a true or false. Flexion exercises have less recovery time.
Oh, we might have stumped them.
False.
False.
True.
We'll get there. One done. Okay, tell us why.
Time out. These ones are the same, and you can have two.
Extension has more.
And these ones are the same, and you can, whatever, I don't know. Don't
Multi-joint.
take them for everyone.
Can you repeat the question just so I can
Flexion exercises
That looks
have
like you.
less recovery time.
So flexor muscle groups.
Uh-huh.
For example, I don't know if this is probably more of an observation than a universal truth, but everybody's done enough coaching to probably see like how much faster you recover, for a pull-up than for like a bench press. Do you know what I mean? Like if you don't get enough rest for a bench, you'll really see a huge performance drop. Versus if you shorten your recovery time for a pull-up, there's not a big drop-off, You'll find the same thing on leg curl, not much of drop-off. But you try that on a squat, there's a big drop-off. I know it's multi-joint, but what I've found observationally is that you have I like to call it patterns, like a pressing pattern or an extension pattern, longer recovery time. Flexion pattern, shorter recovery time. So it's kind of a cool thing for your program design, especially when you're running short on time. The other thing too, and well, I don't even want to say what the next one is, just in case it's a question, but has anybody else observed that?
It's called it's
Okay, it's kind of, have I seen a study on it? Absolutely not, but I guarantee if a study was done, that's what it would find. So, yep, it does.
Give yourself enough rest.
That's interesting. I didn't really pay attention to that.
So
Yeah.
it's more for
Man, these are
multi-joint
good
next
questions.
to
Not necessarily multi-joint, but pattern. You know, a flexion pattern will usually recover faster than an extension pattern. So,
Okay.
pneumatic diffuser.
You always want to train the lower back for blank, not blank.
What was that?
Always want to train the lower back for blank, not blank.
Extension?
Not what it was.
this is good. This is a good question.
Time. That's strength.
It's an open
Yep.
question.
Yep,
that
that's
right?
right. For endurance
Now-
and strength.
Oh, it's like.
Let's expand on this, okay? That's a good statement, but you could kind of change it slightly. It's not necessarily always, but first, okay?
Right.
So the way you train your back is for endurance first, you know? Yep, exactly. That's a
So I should
McGillism.
say,
So you would
train
want to,
first.
so you would train the back for endurance as opposed to strength first, or we would say it's slightly different. But there's a whole continuum you can go through, but the most important element of low back training is endurance, okay?
Okay.
But you can certainly train for strength down the road, okay? But endurance is key for the low back.
See, I was thinking like postural movements again. Like we're not trying to go into flexion all the time with our back. Or
We're not.
trying to
You gotta
train
put your head
extension.
We're not.
Jason's head right now, 'cause he's
Yeah, I know. So I'm like,
What?
That's an open question. So technically, we're both right.
Okay,
I know what you
You
said.
read my
I
hand.
said extension.
Extension is correct too.
Yeah, I'm Raffles.
Extension, not flexion,
Yes.
right?
That's what I was saying.
Good job.
By the way, do not leave any of these in your car because they will melt. That's why I had to run home, and I did that.
Are they organic?
No, but I have 2 in my front seat. So I was trying to get one.
They're in her front seat.
Literally in the cushion of my front seat.
okay, next question. So when you're doing like ladder drills on the ground, which drill would be best for ankle stability? Would you think, or should I give
No,
some
this is a good,
Or should-
yeah, why don't you name like 3 or 4 and let them pick?
Okay, so let's do one would be the like hopscotch. The next one would be on 1 foot, zigzag in and out, one side. And then the next choice would be just like high knees. B.
Zigzag, yeah. I don't know if anybody does that, but that is just an amazing ankle exercise for people.
Sometimes rename
So,
them to what people will remember.
yeah, that's fine.
Okay,
How,
go ahead.
nope.
Cactus. What move drives all other athletic lifts?
I'm a desert tulip.
Or what drives all other athletic lifts? Not what I was looking for. What? I don't know how to explain
An
this.
athletic lifts, extension or flexion generally.
Oh,
Okay, so what drives it?
hips,
That's a good hint.
glutes, quads.
And it's,
Upper.
think about a previous question. Think about a previous question.
There you go, Marie!
Training neck extension usually will drive
So the
other
neck-
lifts.
Yeah, that was it. The neck drive. I'm like.
Squat, any type of extension.
Okay, next question. Where should you be standing when watching and assisting squats and RDLs?
This is a critical one because it's not always done correctly.
Number 1, what do you think for squats? Where should you be?
Directly behind them.
Yes.
Yep.
Spoon it.
Could be directed behind.
Practically, yeah.
That's why I like to
Please be specific.
spot Jason all the time.
Give me a utensil.
I mean, it's one, warming up, stuff like that, kind of doing a little walk arounds, okay, and stuff like that. Once you're in your work sets, you got to be in there tight. Okay?
And then for RDLs,
Cameron, you have to get the second part right.
To the side,
oh, you have to get 2.
party else to the side.
What side?
Lateral side.
You spot an RDL, you're just gonna drop it.
Got it.
Spot them.
Did he finish? Did Cameron finish the answer?
So on
Was
the
that
side.
satisfactory or?
What would you mean, like directly to the side? Or?
Or you're talking angles, degrees,
Yeah, I need
Parallels.
45 degrees. 45 degrees.
I don't know, is that right?
That's about right. About a 45-degree angle, front or back. I mean, you could be to either front position.
I want a candle.
Okay, what exercise increases press movements? exercise increases press movements?
Exercise. Simple curls.
I'm not sure myself. Oh yeah.
So if you want to get better at pressing.
Yeah, some
do
Dave,
more
some
pressing.
hey, some Dave said. Hi Dave, I know you're gonna watch this.
Yes!
Yeah.
Bingo.
Internal.
Rotator increases press movements.
Another one?
So
Internal.
the A's and A's and W's.
Right, remember? Internal.
Anyone in particular that's preferred? Bonus question, Caleb.
Okay, next
Giving
one.
up to steel cans? Come on. Getting all these questions, but I have no can.
Seriously, bring it up!
You gotta get up to get it.
I don't want.
Oh, your wife does. Your wife does.
Calendar, there's like $20. Candles are expensive.
If there's some left, I'll take them.
Are you serious?
It's a because I love you gift.
I gotta. Yeah.
How many
Okay,
are left?
next question.
I know your bathroom stinks.
I have a follow-up question for that one.
It smells fine.
Maybe
What
Jason can
is the
answer.
best way to determine if the exercise is flexion or extension? It's kind of a fun fact.
Repeat, please.
What is the best way to determine if the exercise is flexion or extension?
I think you're gonna have to reword that. Okay. You're gonna need to reword that. Okay.
Or like,
Well, I mean, this is true. This is true. I know what you're looking for. This is a correct answer. Okay.
okay.
Shorting the joint. Okay. But, however, that would be anatomically. Okay. Now we're talking biomechanics. Okay. So in lifting, so you need to rephrase it. So in lifting, how do you determine if the movement is a flexion or extension? Do you know what I mean?
Okay,
It's
yeah.
basically what you're. It's just slightly rewording it. So go ahead. You can re-ask it. No.
Or should I-
So repeat it. Ask.
So, what do you mean?
Okay, let me say. So in lifting, so one of the things I always quiz the girls on is, first of all, what's the muscle actions involved? You know, what are the joint motions? Okay, so this is flexion extension. Okay, but it depends upon what exercise I'm doing. Okay, so how do you determine if an exercise is flexion or extension? Okay, and what we're talking is concentric, eccentric.
Jesse.
Yep. Exactly, right? And so you always look at the concentric contraction to determine it. Or what was the trick? Do you remember? What's the exact answer? The direction the load is being lifted, right?
Yeah.
So in a hamstring curl, okay, as I'm going down, the weight is lifting up, right? So therefore it's flexion, okay? So it's concentric flexion,